Hey, solos. So you want to go to Walt Disney World all by yourself, but you want to know how other people, like the Dapper Danielle, might do Disney World all by herself. Well, solo spoiler, do I have an episode for you? Hi, everyone. It's Samantha. Olaf may not know who Samantha is, but now you do. And welcome to Disney Solo Magic, the number one podcast for solo travel to Disney World. And while this is usually an audio podcast, we are doing this via video because it's American Thanksgiving. We all have a long weekend. We might need more opportunities to just kind of like just take some time by ourselves. And I thought you would love to be able to see Danielle and I talk. So Danielle and I have already spoken for one episode that was about a month ago about her new book that came out. We are definitely going to talk in January to talk about her next book about Epcot, but we're doing this episode to talk about solo travel. Now, just a just a heads up that midway through there was some issues in my building. So we did half and then we came back and did half. The conversation is so fantastic. It just doesn't flow quite as nicely as I would have liked it to flow. But it's such a wonderful conversation. And if you know the Dapper Danielle, you know how wonderful she is and how much information she has. And it was so great to talk about going solo, but also about trauma clothing and also about historical accuracy and also about hidden haunted places at Disney and all of these other just kind of random things that came up in conversation. It was wonderful, and I hope that you enjoy watching as well as listening. Now, if you don't already subscribe to the Disney Solo Magic podcast, if this is your first time meeting me, hello. But please make sure you subscribe. YouTube is not our main point for posting things. We're usually on Apple, on Spotify. I'm also on all the social medias as well as Danielle. So please make sure you go to the description below to make sure you follow me, rate, review, subscribe, comment, all of that stuff. Please make sure you follow me. Make sure you follow Danielle if you're not already following her. And yeah, we have such great programming coming up for 2026 for the Disney Solo Magic podcast. We're always looking for people to interview, and we also have a Patreon where you can get some reflections and behind the scenes things and all of that stuff. So if this is your first time again with the Disney Solo Magic podcast, welcome. I hope you enjoy our conversation. It was so wonderful, and let's get right on into it. We have the Dapper Danielle back. Thank you so much, Danielle. I'm so excited to talk with you. We talked about your book, I Love Magic Kingdom. Hopefully, we're going to talk about your
Yes.
next book, I Love Epcot. But right now, we're going to
Yes.
talk about solo travel. So, can you please introduce yourself? Although I feel like you don't need much of an introduction.
Oh, y'all just butter me up like a biscuit. Now I will introduce myself. Hello. I don't know why I'm putting on the Southern accent all of
Like,
a
no
sudden,
one's
but
going to hear you. No one's going to think it's you now.
no, I am. So I'm the Dapper Danielle. I'm Danielle Kelly on, well, the Dapper Danielle on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Threads even. And I talk about random Disney things in the middle of the night that you probably don't care about, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And I am a solo travel girly. And when we were talking about this in the last, when you interviewed me last,
Mhm.
and we were talking mostly about the book, I was like, no, I'll come back on and we'll talk about this more
Yeah.
because, like, I guess that's like the main question. And this is actually a question I get asked all the time is, Danielle, do you go to the park by yourself? And I say, yeah, because if I have other people with me, y'all slow me down. I got things to do. I got things to record. I have to go by myself. So yeah,
That's
I'm
funny
so
that
happy to
people
talk about
ask you
this.
that question because your videos are you. It's not like it's a selfie video. It's not like it's panned out to everyone that you're with. So it's funny that people ask that. Why do you think people ask that? Because they're surprised that people would go to Disney solo? I mean, I guess I'm like so in the
That
solo world now. I'm just like, who would
No,
be
and that's
surprised?
exactly, and that's me too. And I think it's because even when I am with other people, I don't necessarily put them in the video with me. And I don't pan out to necessarily where I'm at because I'm trying to avoid like faces of children or anything else like that for like content
Of
and
course.
continuity. So I try to be very selective and very protective of that and of my friends too. I'm like, if you don't want to be on camera, tell me you don't want to be on camera. And I just will try to warn you that I'm recording. Or I'm with people that I'll record specifically and know I have to voice over later, like my aunt. Oh my goodness. The video of us going and trying, what was it, Jock Lindsay's Hanger Bar for the first time for the Halloween overlay before I realized the decor was AI. Uh, we're trying it with the food, and my aunt's there. My aunt, love Aunt Jatana. Aunt Jatana lives in Canada.
That is quite the name.
Isn't that fun? And
Yeah,
so
what
Mama's name's Danette, and then we have Jatana.
with a
I'm
J?
with a J,
Interesting. Cool.
right? And when I tell you, picture, okay, to picture my Aunt Jatana, our faces look a lot alike. We are very similar in the face, glasses, everything. You can tell we're related, but her hair, blonde hair is kinky, curly, and very fluffy. And she knows no stranger. So they're waiting in line. She's a menace when she comes to Disney World, and she's
I have
waiting
one
in
of those
line.
too.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh my goodness, this line is so long. Oh my god, where's your top from? You know, my aunt died 3 weeks ago, and this is my entire life story." And then she's switching phone numbers with these people 20 minutes later, and they're still in contact today. That's like the type of person she is. So when I record with her, she is not being spatially aware that I'm recording. And so I have to mute her all the time because I keep picking up her video. She's like, "Oh no, this Danielle, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Jatana, I'm filming the food, not your hands." So yeah, I that and so that's why I try not to. It's just not great B-roll because it's me mostly yelling at my aunt or my family members, guys, move, you're blocking the shot.
Yeah, I know when I
Oh,
do semi-solo trips with my mom, she now knows like when we do the food festivals because like if you're creating
yes,
content for the food festivals, it is much better to have somebody there so you can eat more stuff, right? So now
right.
my mother will be like, "Right, do not touch until you take pictures." But she
Camera
still's
eats
like
first.
right, but she still stands like right at the table. So I'm like, "Mom, your
Your
hands,
shadow's in
your
the
shirt,
shot.
your like your saliva, like you're like drooling over the pictures. Like thanks, like, thanks for letting me get this shot, but like I need you to move, like really move."
Right. Well, and that's where like I say all this because since I don't have a lot of my family or I don't have a lot of people pictured in my videos, unless Dapper Mom and Dad are there and Daddy just is a ham for the camera, um, then I everybody's shocked that I do go by myself. That's the general consensus of like, oh, I'm too scared to go by myself. I feel like I would be awkward. And I'm like, no, like, no. And I want to break that stigmatism
Totally.
as hard as possible of those that mindset that I don't think stigmatism is the right
No,
word, but
it's so funny. I was like, I don't think you can break
it's
a
not a
stig that
stigmatism.
no,
What's
you want to break the stigma.
stigma?
Yeah,
Not
you were
just
so
the
close. You were
stigma.
so close. But I also was like,
Wait, what? No, the stigma that you have to go with other people, that you have to go with either a significant other or with family members or with your mom. No, you do not have to bring your mother and your aunt with you every single time you go to Disney World because more than likely there's going to be a fight amongst the three of you. Just leave the drama at home and go by yourself and it's cheaper. Like just do it.
do you think
Ugh.
the stigma is that you should bring someone else or that it's weird to be there by yourself? You know what I mean?
I think it's people feel guilty that they're going and having a good time without others.
I think that's a huge part of it.
Hmm.
But I think that also people are just like uncomfortable. Like they think it's such a family place, which it is. But I was saying in an episode, like I hardly even see the kids. Like I'm on this like different plane of energy that
I'm
so
confused when I see kids. I'm like, why are you here? Why
I
aren't you
know
in
I'm just
school?
like like don't you have school? Like why are you here? That it's like it's so people might look at you confused because they're like, how could you be doing this with kids? And you're like, oh no, that's the thing. You don't do it with kids. And it becomes this whole other experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm, I don't know. It's interesting. I think it's a culmination. I think everybody's like journey and visiting the park by themselves is so different because are you I know many people that they are such people pleasers that they feel like they have to play hostess on vacation and they have to bring people with them to make sure that they have a good time because if they have to have other people have a good time for them to have a good time,
Yeah. Well,
right?
and you were saying that too, like when you go with other people, you are so much the hostess that it's not even a
Oh, yes.
comparable of experience of when you're there by yourself.
Oh, exactly. And that I think I can cut out that time because I am having so much alone time. I do not feel like I'm missing out on the park. So when I bring other people, which is maybe once in a season, or I go with other people, I'm making sure that they have everything that they need because I'm the expert. I know I can give them two options, and I'm like, okay, these are the two options. One is one I highly suggest, but the other one is what you probably want to do. So which one, which, and as I'm like bringing one closer and put one further away to try to be like hint, but then it's they're trying to make it their ultimate choice to do these things, even though I'm subliminally suggesting the other, you know?
Yeah, no, when I have been thinking about planning trips for family, I'm just like, look, here's the thing. I know you and your preferences better than you do, so let me just do it all. Trust me. And at the end, you'll see. It's fine.
And I mean, and there's also some family members or people that we're friends with that I'm like, you're gonna do it wrong anyway. So I have to mentally prepare myself of I cannot tell you the correct answer. I am just gonna go along for the ride and be completely at like whatever happens, happens, and I have to have a clear mindset for that.
Right,
Does that make
and that
sense?
like yeah, because doing first, I mean, you can't really do Disney wrong. I put that in
Right.
quotes. And that like sometimes that's people's journey to do it wrong. You
I'm
can't do
like,
it wrong, but sometimes it's part of your
no,
journey to
well,
do it too.
a good example of doing it wrong, right, is, oh, well, we want to do Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, you know what? We also want to do Remy's Ratatouille Adventure immediately afterwards, and then we're going to head straight over to Norway. And I'm just like, if that's what you want to do. And then by the time we're leaving Remy's, everybody's complaining about their feet hurting. And I was like, you don't say. You you don't say.
Oh, so
Oh,
interesting. It's almost
that's
like that could have been
interesting.
predicted.
That could have been predicted. And so I'm mentally prepared. I made sure I knew where my next available snacks were, or I know what people I need to like, depending on the people I'm going with, if I need to pack protein bars in my bag because I
Yeah.
know they're going to refuse to stop for food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
With my mother, when we go, because she's like addicted to espresso, so I plan the route to ensure that we always like are close to an espresso at certain times of the day. But other than that, as long we're fine. But even though you can't do Disney wrong, I actually think you can. I mean, obviously you can, but I
Oh
also
yeah.
think that you can do it wrong when you're going solo, when you get those like that anxiety in your head because you were saying like people think it's
Mhm.
hard or feel guilty about celebrating or having fun on their own. I think that like those things get in people's head. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'm going to play it small because I'm here by myself, or I am not going to have too much fun because I'm here by myself, or like all of these different things that just make you have just like kind of a smaller time, like you're kind of living in a bubble of guilt. Or
Right.
okay, I'm going to do all these rides because that's like what everybody says to do, and eat all these snacks because that's what everyone says on social media. But I don't actually like fast rides and I don't want to eat sweets. Like then you're
Right.
doing Disney wrong. Do a different trip. That's why you're there solo.
Ah, right. And you know what? And I love that you said like being small. And I think some of that is like wow, not to unpack the psychological side of everything and to like
Yes.
look at people that are at the park and then a lot of it's also based on dress too
Mm,
and like how people present themselves in the park and I can if I sit on Main Street with my little pumpkin spice latte right now or my chai pumpkin latte and I'm just there people watching I'm looking at people and I'm like oh based on that outfit oh it's traumatized it's having a hard time right now here enjoying itself. Like it's
oh my God.
unfortunate.
I just want to unpack that so much. Like finish your sentence, but I
No, no,
definitely
no.
want to unpack that. Yeah. Go on.
No, but it's accurate and I feel like when you go to the park and the point of Magic Kingdom and a point of like going to a theme park, it doesn't even have to be Disney. Any theme park,
Hmm.
you are there to escape your reality and you can leave your baggage at the door. That is what it is meant for. There is no other expectation. So you dress how you want, well, within security reasonings, and like be confident in yourself, just there to have a good time. Don't worry about others because they're definitely not worrying about you. and just like that, this is your place to express and to be happy and to enjoy yourself. And I really want people to get that and to for that to come across.
Totally, because when I did I was on a trip with my mother and I was doing an evening solo, and there
Mm,
was a woman behind me in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride who was also there solo. And when I saw the photo from the ride, she had like lit up when she knew the camera was there, and I was like playing it very small because it was like my first time there solo, and I was like, "Oh, I'm jealous of this woman. Like this is how you do it." And that's
right.
how I like tell people now, when you think the people are looking at you weird, they could just be jealous of you because you don't need to compromise with everybody.
Right.
So please tell me
And
what a traumatized outfit looks like because I have my own ideas, but I feel like they might be different.
well, okay. Well, there's traumatized solo, but then there's also traumatized with a larger party,
Oh yeah.
right?
Mm.
So
Yep.
there's different categories, there's different levels. I would probably say one big key giveaways are the same athletic shoes that you wear to the gym because you go to the gym because you are already feeling guilty about yourself and you're trying to work out. If you bring your workout shoes to the parks, I don't know, there's something there, you know?
You know
So
what? That was totally what I was thinking about. I was like, it's shoes. The trauma is in the shoes.
yes, if you well, no, there's also there's trauma in the shoes and there's what is it? I feel like sometimes hair holds like well, and this is just in general, right? So I there is something behind the idea that hair holds memory, right? So if you are taking your hair and you are trying to act small, and yeah, it's hot in Florida, but also you having the slick back ponytail with nothing going on and you're trying to act small with your little tiny baseball cap on, your oversized t-shirt and your little yoga shorts, that's because you're hiding something. You are not being proud of yourself and proud of your body and not just like saying, I'm here, like that. Those are very clear indicators. But I think the hair part, by literally letting your hair down, you're supposed to let your hair down when you're at the park. And so when it's slicked back and you can barely tell if it's been day 3 or not, you're like, oh, then we're also not showering in the hotel room. That's great.
Yes.
Yes.
So, like I say on the podcast, like you do you, bibbity bobbity boo, like no
Mm,
judgment, but also Disney is a place where you can really go outside of your box. And so,
yes.
if you are dressing in the same way that you would do like a school run, you don't need to. Like, take the opportunity to like practice different versions of yourself. You don't need to go full on, but like feel free to have fun.
Well, and maybe this is also because y'all, the Dapper Danielle means to be neat and trim and dress in appearance. And I try to do that at all times. I mean, right now I'm pretty casual right now, but at least I still have a fun textured like sweater shirt on right
Yes,
now.
definitely.
And I feel like for oh, what is it? Even when it comes to travel and you go on the airplane, my my goal in life is to look better than everybody else. Not to the point where I'm wearing like a Gucci sweatpants. Number one, we never wear sweatpants, but we're wearing a nice fitted, loose cotton dress. Maybe we have a little jacket with us. We have a little number. We do have some type of face on. I'm not rolling into my pajamas and my onesie.
Hmm.
So that same mentality I take to traveling is the same mentality I take to the park because I'm presenting my best foot forward because I maybe it's also coming from the retail side of the world and working as a frontline cast member for 10 years
Mm,
is when people come in not even trying, then I don't want to try for you. I don't want to necessarily help you because you're not bringing your best energy to me. So
hmm.
why would I want to help you?
Hmm.
So then I try to bring my best energy into the park, into these places where people are going to be serving or going to be helping me. I want to present my best self to them.
Yeah.
And more than likely, the proven fact, the better you dress in the park, the more magical moments happen to you.
Well, I was saying that to some friends. I was like, "Oh, I get pixie dusted."
A lot.
a lot. And
Yeah.
a person I was with who's an annual pass member and he lives there and he's like, "Oh, well, I understand that." He's like, "Look at you." And he's like, "And also your outfits match your personality. So your
Right.
outfits are like an invitation to talk to people." And I mean, that's the case in my normal life, but it's especially true for Disney that I want to present myself, even when I'm there solo, especially when I'm there solo, as like I'm part of this community. And you can see that by how I'm presenting myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Ah,
The
goodness.
when I went to Disney like in my 20s, the first time as an adult, and I had gone with a partner, I was looking at the pictures on our like little digital camera, and I was like, okay, new strategy for clothes. Because I had just packed like comfortable summer clothes, and that was a mistake. I need
Right.
to pack comfortable summer clothes that are whimsical and fun and bright and that match where we are taking pictures. And those next set of pictures turned out much better.
Right. And it's amazing how people think that comfortable Florida clothes is a t-shirt and leggings when really you need to be thinking about what would you wear in the islands in like a humid climate because that's really what Central Florida is for us. And you're going to be wearing cottons, you're going to be wearing linens, and if you wear a dress, you don't have something binding on your legs so you don't have swamp ass later on in the day. So you want to be breathing.
Yeah, those are the things that you need to like you need to figure out the most comfortable shorts for underneath your skirts. Like don't not wear skirts. And I don't
Right.
understand how people can wear those like thick yoga pants in the parks. Like how uncomfortable must you be? And like how smelly must those pants be at the end of the day? You know what I
Because
mean?
I
Like
understand that you try to pack light because maybe your kids or whatever had to take up half of your luggage, but also if that's the only pair of leggings you have, it's going to show up in every single photo. Like
yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah. So somebody on
Mm.
Patreon wanted to know what the like dapper means to you. And so you talk a little bit about that, but maybe you could answer a little bit more specifically.
I mean, kind of like what I said of dapper means to be neat and trim and dress in appearance. I think some of that is also the just the dapper mentality. The
Hmm.
when people think of dapper, they think of like a socialite or someone that is a hosting, welcoming, well-dressed, and is like maybe the front of a party kind of thing, right?
Hmm.
And I try to be that in my content. I try to be very welcoming. I try to be very understanding, and I'm bringing you on this journey of history with me when I talk about these things. So I'm going to present myself in a well-dressed manner to welcome you into this piece of history, right?
Mm.
So I there's a little different mindset for it. And also the more put together I look is it makes me feel better. So and I know this about myself. And I
Yep.
know for me to do my best is to have some type of layer of I gotta have some type of lipstick on. Gotta probably have some type of base on. And then the bigger the earrings, the better I feel. Does that like even when I played I used to, random side tangent is when I was in high school, I was the varsity girls golf captain, right?
As we all were. Definitely
Right,
not.
it's
Yeah.
definitely like random side tangent on Danielle. And I was not picked for my playing ability. I was picked for my leadership ability. And but what I did was I would make sure that because I was like representing my team as a team captain, I wore the cute little golf skirts. And I was like, no, but I'm still going to show my personality. So I wore these gigantic metal hoops that would clang. And that's how I knew my shoulders were lined up correctly to be able to swing, is that if I couldn't feel my hoops on my shoulders, something was wrong.
Right.
And so that same like the bigger the earrings, the bigger the outfit, the bigger the hair, the better my day is gonna be,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know? I don't know. It's a weird mentality, but it
No,
works.
I totally get it. I 100%, I totally get it. So when I work in an office, I actually tease my hair up. It's like a beehive every day. And so I was like
Yes.
laughing when you're saying like the bigger my hair, because I remember like like getting on the subway on the way to work, and then if I'm like running late and I see people and I'm like, maybe I'm not running late. Like maybe I could have spent a little bit more time on getting some height here.
Could my hair been bigger?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean
oh,
that was really always the goal.
I
Um
love that.
Yeah, I agree. And I also just want to say for those people who are listening and who like whose aesthetic doesn't match that, that there are also other ways to just like invite that, because we're talking about
Right.
aesthetic, but we're also just talking about like bringing magic to yourself, right? And so that things like
Hmm.
accessories and even just like recognizing what your face is doing. Like if you're there, it's okay to be happy. It's okay to show your joy. Like I did this little quick reel. I don't really do reels, so no one really saw it, which is totally fine. But I was like, look, I know like women aren't, you're not supposed to like tell women to smile, but like it's also like totally okay to show your joy. Like it's the opposite too. Like it's fine. You don't need to smile if you don't want to, but also you can smile if you want to. Like it's
But
so
also,
wonderful
sometimes
here.
you actually showing joy and like being truly genuine to how you feel sometimes makes those that are trying to suppress that and don't want that for you even angrier. So you should do it just to spite them,
I
you
know,
know?
totally, totally. Now I'm going to tell everyone to like smile, and that is the most
Right.
feminist thing I'm going to do today. Hey, ladies, smile. All right, so everyone, we had to take a little bit of a break due to a very non-Disney home maintenance thing. So we don't even know where we ended, so we're just starting with another question.
It was like, okay, y'all been ranting long enough. We're gonna go ahead and force
Totally.
interrupt,
I know.
cut off that tangent, and let's move on to the next
I know.
subject.
I wanted to complain about Crocs, but everyone was like, you know what? It's fine. Don't talk about Crocs.
We've
People are like,
ranted
what?
about that. I have ranted about Crocs and wearing Crocs with sandals inside the parks, and that's a that can be a whole nother video topic and podcast topic for another time.
Well,
And
I did
breaking
this
down the
like
psychoses
a
of that.
cool kid summer episode where I was like, look, you need to wear things that you're comfortable with. And I was like, personally, wearing yoga pants, Crocs, and a lounge fly in the middle of a summer in Florida is like abhorrent. Like I literally couldn't think of anything worse. There are so many heavy, non-natural fabrics your body has to get through in order to cool itself
Right.
off.
Oh
Okay,
my,
so I'm
yeah.
glad we got that in. So, one of the questions I wanted to ask you, Danielle, about you going solo is that because
Yeah.
you're a content creator and you know the park so well and you were a cast member, that a lot of people, when they're talking about their solo experiences, really just like love the vibes and just like love going for like a good cry and love just really like taking the time to like sit and journal and think. And so I feel like you'd be the type of person that would look to Disney as a place of healing. But I also think that, when you were talking about how you understand yourself as like the Dapper Danielle as a host, that do you all like, is there any of that type of solo travel that you're able to do, or do you constantly feel like you are on like hosting mode?
I don't know. I think it's more of maybe, okay, well, maybe when I say hosting mode, maybe it's more of the idea of I enjoy my time here. And I like, even when I talk about Disney, even though I am not directly associated with Disney, I say we a lot, as
Right.
in my correlation with Disney, as if I'm welcoming you. Like here at Disney, we. And I'm like, wait, I'm not speaking for the brand or for the company. I have no direct correlation with this at all. Why am I saying the royal we? And it's because it's not that I'm playing hostess necessarily. It's more of the idea of I want you to come in and enjoy what I love. And I want
Mm,
you to see what I love so much. And I want you to have just as great of a time. And I want you to be so comfortable. And maybe making you comfortable is me dressing up and looking my best to be able to welcome you to my happy place, you know? And I think it's also just the idea of I am very much a people person. I love socializing. I'm a yapper, if you cannot tell on this podcast. And I just want to have a very human connection, I think is what it is. And so
Mm.
I know that by making myself more approachable, by dressing a certain way, that makes me more approachable. And those humans that are also searching that will find me. Does that
Hmm.
make sense?
Yeah, totally. But do you ever get a chance, if you even want one, to just chill and vibe without being
Without
in a
somebody
space?
stopping me.
No, no, no. People can stop you, but like without energetically presenting as there for people.
I think what's hard is that for me, basically the same Danielle that you're seeing online right now and that the same person you're seeing in the video is the same.
Yeah.
Like I'm not pretending to be somebody I'm not. And I think that's
Hmm.
also something very hard for people to wrap around and understand because most influencers are not like me. They're the
Right.
ones that they can talk to a camera all day long does not mean that they can talk to real humans.
Yeah.
So I think it is hard. So for me, I'm not putting on anything. I'm not pretending to be one way or to put on a face or anything like that. It's just me. It's
Well,
not hard for me at
it's
all.
not pretending as much as like code switching, right? Like 'cause sometimes,
Right.
but what I'm hearing from you is like you get the magic and like the battery refilling from the very interactions
Yes.
of, yeah, that's great.
I would say my battery does not start being refilled until someone says hello or a cast member if I have an interaction with a cast member.
Yeah.
And if I don't have that by the time I get down Main Street, I'm like, what is wrong? Is something wrong? How can I fix
Totally.
this? Do I need to go find a coordinator friend that I know over here on Main Street and be like, why are the vibes off on Main Street, USA today?
Totally.
Because I have not been approached today and nobody has said hello.
It's so I did a little episode. It was like maybe last year too. It was like it was called A Little Story of Anxiety. If anyone wanted to go back and listen to it, and I walked into the Magic Kingdom. I think it's because I only had like 2 or 3 hours left before I had to get on a plane. And I just felt this wave of anxiety. And so I like centered myself. I ate some beignets. And then as I
Nice.
like walked to the next thing, there was a family that were like holding a paper map. And I was like, can I help you? And they were like, oh, okay. So I like gave them directions and I was like, I feel like that was even better than the beignets. Like just connecting in
Yes.
this space, I feel better, even though I'm like not a cast member.
No, but like, yeah, that is honestly me. Especially, you get those people that maybe you jumped onto the direct line over at the transportation ticket center, and there's that family that did not realize that they were supposed to get off at the transportation ticket center to be able to get to Epcot.
Right.
And so then they're going back around again, and you're in the same cabin as them, and you're just like, I need to interject and I need to say something, or else mom and dad here are going to have it out before we even get to the Magic Kingdom front gates. I need to say something, be like, oh no, honestly, this happens all the time. And then they're like, oh, where are you from? I'm like, down the street, 15 minutes. I'm a local. And like just trying to put that at ease and have that human interaction to be like, you messed up, but it's not the end of the world. You just stay in your air conditioned car and you go back around for one more lap.
Yeah,
That's all it
yeah,
is. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah.
yeah. It's funny when I'll do something like correct people and they're like, "Oh, are you local?" I'm like, "No, no, I'm from Canada." And I'm like, "Well, first it's kind of logical like the thing that you've missed." But also I come fairly often. And I was like, "Which one sounds better?" Neither. I'm just boasting at this point, but also it's so nice to help you.
Right. Exactly. Ah,
And so
goodness.
I had interviewed somebody and she is a local content creator. And I said, what's your favorite thing to do in the parks when you're solo? And she said, cry. She said that it's like a place that she just feels completely safe to have all of the emotions and
Mm.
whatever emotion is connected with those tears. And so do you get those types of like big waves of emotions as well, or is that not the place for it for you?
No, because I'm a type 3 Capricorn. I suppress all of my emotions. We take any emotions I have in my life, and whether it's happy, whether it's like, well, not happiness, but like sadness or like frustration. We take those emotions, we compress them down internally until it turns into a diamond, you know? And And so when you see, if you ever, there's only one video that I have ever posted of me getting emotional and crying, and it's when I got the the first tangible version of I Love Magic Kingdom. And I was so
Mm,
worried that TikTok was
your
going
book.
away, my book. And when I got this in my hand, I was making the announcement before TikTok was going to disappear. Those were genuine tears. That was
Mm.
100% real. But that is not normal for me. I'm not a super emotional person. When people there, and I'm so happy for people that are emotional like that. I'm just like, they're there. Or what's the line that what's her face says in Bridgerton? Sorrows, sorrows, prayers. That's me, right? Especially when it comes to something sad. But for me, my emotion that I feel is just the awe of humanity, of a human
Love it.
connection and of art, right? Maybe it's an appreciation.
Yes.
And like I see something, I go into Country Bear Jamboree, something ridiculous. I love this show. I love the songs. I love the bears. I think of my mind goes into the history of one of the last things Walk talked about with his Imagineers before he had his last trip to the hospital where he eventually died. And
Mm.
it was the last Imagineer and last project he talked about in the Imagineering studio before he passed, right? So like I think on that history, and then I have to recenter myself, stop thinking about that history to look at the 4-year-old that's standing in their seat dancing to uh one of the songs. And I'm just like, isn't art and the intention and the human interaction with that art beautiful? Right? So
Mm.
that's what I reflect on.
I love that you said art because it's funny. We don't really talk about that in the podcast so much, but when I
Mhm.
talk about the reasons why I'm drawn to it, I'm just like, it's the color, it's the imagineering, it's the details, and all of that is art. And I love the way you
Right.
articulated that.
And I think because really the things that have a lasting impression are because it is a true art form. Somebody put in when a true artist makes art, they put enough of themselves into that thing that it gains a piece of a soul, right? So
Mm.
like almost like what is it? The Cat Returns, the Studio Ghibli movie. There's a whole opening line in that about how this cat was a doll, but then it gained a personality because the artist put so much of its own soul into it that it gained its own personality, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
There's a
like
Canadian cartoon from like back in the 80s called The Cat Came Back. And like anyone who's listening that's a Canadian in my age group are know exactly what I'm talking about and are singing the song. So when you said that, I was like, I don't think that got all the way out to the
no, 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 no.
States.
Different franchise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
And
I
yeah.
think that this I've been really struggling, and maybe you are too, about the not just the increase in prices, but there's something that's happening with the commerce. And I think that when you talk about the art, I think that what people might be feeling is when capital is overtaking that art. So you can appreciate the
Mhm.
art and you can pay your money for the art, but when the art is kind of getting downgraded in favor of the commerce, that's when it starts to feel sticky. Because when you the way you said it like that helps me understand my own about it right now.
Wait, what's it missing? What's wrong? With like, okay, for a good example of this is actually something that we're currently experiencing in Walt Disney World right now. And it is the new Zootopia show. I have
Mm,
not seen it myself yet. I cannot pass judgment. However, the general consensus is that it's just clips of a movie. There's
mm,
no soul. There's no true storyline to it. It is just very superficial.
right.
There's nothing else going on to it. And it's because you're not letting artists and true storytellers do their thing. And you can
Mm-hmm.
tell how much either Disney Imagineering, Disney corporate, Disney legal had a say in something that suppressed the art form,
Yeah.
or what was happening backstage in the animation studio, because we know this was the animation studio. Disney Animation worked and created this that is also working on Zootopia 2, and they're behind on Zootopia 2, and
Right.
they're still trying to finish up that movie before it airs here in like 2 weeks.
Right. Right.
So uh there's just so much like but that's able to be read, and
Yeah.
people get that.
When it
So I
feels
think that's what people's frustration is.
when people are being drawn to the magic and you're like, fine, I'll pay for the magic. But then it's like, sorry, is this magical? Because I'm paying a lot for this magic, right?
Right.
Yeah. There was another thing I wanted to say related to that. What was it? Zootopia, magic. I can't remember. What so do you feel that that is going to be the trend? Oh, I know what I was going to say.
Mm.
I think that can be understood through the first Jollywood night as well, right? Those first two that were just a disaster. And people were like,
Right.
so many people started clipping corners. So like there was this big artful vision and everyone like people who wanted to go could see the artful vision, could be like, oh my God, I can just imagine how great it's going to be. And
Right.
then you get there and you're like, oh, so many corners were clipped. What am I even in anymore? Right. So
Right.
Disney corrected, and people really love it now. I haven't been, but do you think that Disney's going to course correct in that way, or its profits are going to just keep driving things?
What's hard is that the people that are making these decisions don't know how to listen to where the masses are,
Mm,
right? So these people that are making these decisions in the corporate world don't have social media. They
right.
don't have Instagram. They do not have TikTok. They don't have all these things. So what they're looking at are true statistics and numbers and complaints that are going to guest relations.
Mm,
So a social media person, can complain and talk about it all I want, but the only people that are going to see it are the intern and the maybe one of the art director, low ranking art directors that is still working their way up in the company because their superiors don't have social media. So then
right.
they're trying to take this information in these content creator videos and share this to say, hey, you need to fix this. Jollywood got fixed so quickly because so many people went and complained to guest relations and
Yeah.
went and complained in their immediate reviews and their poll responses. Y'all, this is why you got to fill out your reviews at the end of any of your trips or after you leave a park. You got to fill it out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So do you watch the clips from the Amy Poehler podcast, Good Hang?
Yes.
And she just had Kate McKinnon on.
I don't know if I've seen that one yet.
Okay, anyway, there's a clip, just a short that's going around, and Kate McKinnon's like, "What's your astrological sign?" And she's like, "What's yours?" And she's like, "Capricorn," and then Virgo, and I'm a Virgo, and they were like, "Yes, of course." And so
Yes.
when you said Capricorn as a Virgo, I was like, "Yes, of course,
Yes.
that's
This
yes."
this makes
Yes,
sense.
as
And
a Virgo, eldest daughter, blah 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 blah. When I get those surveys, I was like, "Oh, no problem." In fact, please send it to my email so I can like, use my keyboard and not just the phone because I got things to say.
when I tell you, so I won't get into it just yet because you could possibly see a video about this later on in the socials. We went to a birthday lunch, or actually it was a brunch, and we celebrated with a friend here recently, and the dining experience was awful. It was,
Mm,
but I did not want to ruin it in front of anything. I have not written my Google review yet, and I have not chewed them out online yet because I know how powerful my following is.
yeah,
And so I sent it's like, give us your response, fill out your stars as you're like clicking through this. Oh, I gave it. I wrote a 5-page paragraph in that comment section. I've copied and pasted over, ready to fire it out on Google reviews and to make a whole TikTok video. And they have 2 more days to get back in response with me because I have asked for direct response from the management team to my business, the Dapper Danielle email, so they know who they're messing with because this was such a poor experience.
I've had
And
really bad.
oh,
I've had some poor experiences at like non-Disney hotels, like third party run. Excuse me, not hotels.
yes.
Third
And
party
this
run
was also a non-Disney
restaurants.
place, by the way.
Yeah, okay. A third party run restaurant at a hotel, a Disney Springs hotel. And it's also like the bar is higher
Right?
because of, right? And so you gotta let someone know that when it's,
When it's
that
not
shouldn't have
great.
happened.
The
When they
brunch place
said,
we
"Oh,
went to,
we can't make you a non-alcoholic drink because I don't know how to put it in the computer," and I'm like, pretty sure.
It's called you ring it up as a soda, my guy, and you charge me the $4 you're already overcharging for a
I know. I'm
soda.
like, you want me to talk to the bartender? Like, this is not.
And like, just like, bro, that's also not the right answer because that means you go to the old biddy that's been working at this location the longest and you ask her because she probably knows
I
and
know. And
you're
it's
just
funny
too afraid to be able to admit that you don't know.
because the next day I went to
Mm.
Citricos and I was like, can I order things from the Enchanted Rose menu at this restaurant? And he was like, and he paused and I was like, it's fine if it was at the lounge. I was like, it's fine if you can. He's like, no, I mean, we can. I just don't know how to put it in the computer, but like, you'll get your food. And I was like, that's the right answer, sir.
Like, I don't know how, but I will find a way.
Yeah,
That
that's right.
that is
Yes,
the correct
that is the
answer.
answer. So, Danielle,
Yeah.
what are something? Well, I want to ask you like what you're looking forward to in 2026, but also like what you're not. So, which one do you want to start with?
All of the things I was not looking forward to have already happened this past year, especially within the Disney parks of my
Ah,
loss of Muppets and my loss of my Rivers of America. I am
mm,
still in the mourning process. I have yet to go over and actually touch the wall of where Muppets once was.
yeah,
I don't know why. Whenever I've been going into Batu, I've only gone past the wall maybe twice. Since it's been closed, I've been going the long way around into Andy's backyard because I think I'm still like I can't believe that that's gone, right?
yeah, yeah.
So that I'm like, oh goodness. But I'm also excited for construction to finally happen. I'm excited for the animation courtyard coming. I
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fabulous. Um, I have a couple of friends that work over in the animation department, and they've already come over and works from the team that worked on the what is it? The animated short for the 100-year anniversary, the where all the pieces come to life in the
Yep.
studio for the big picture. The director and key animators are currently in Florida and are walking the location for the installs of these
Oh,
artworks. And I'm like, this I can get behind. These are the people boots on the ground working on this. And I'm really excited for that. It's giving me a lot more hope. I'm happy that animation's returning to Animation Courtyard, heaven forbid. And yeah, so there's like some things I am sad about that I'm still mourning here in 2025, but I still have that hope and like, okay, maybe Disney didn't get this part right, but you better get the animation courtyard right. So I have high expectations for certain things.
okay.
Yeah.
Good. What is there anything that's happening in 2026 that you're really looking forward to? Even if it's just like, oh, I love a good food and wine festival, so I can't wait for it to come back in September.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't really focus on anything of like that kind of stuff because it's like so everyday for me, you know?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I
Humble
maybe
brag.
right, not humble brag, but also like I I don't want to get my hopes up too high because I don't want them to be crushed if they are bad.
Yeah.
So
I
like for flower and garden merch, for example, right?
right.
Y'all know how protective I am of my orange bird. And I have seen Orange Bird portrayed in many a style and fashion over here the past 4 or 5 years, especially since 2020 or the 2021 Flower and Garden. And I I have no expectations coming in. If it is good, if it is decent, I'm ecstatic because you tried. You did a decent job. He has his eyebrows, he has his tummy, he's the correct color. That I'm happy with. But if you come in with like I don't know, did you see the Destination D23 merchandise from
You
this
know, I
year?
didn't see a lot of it because I don't think it was that notable, right?
It wasn't.
Yeah.
They had one collection that was part of the Imaginary section, and it was a modernized take on Orange Bird. And
Mm.
I didn't know about it. I didn't do any pre like research on it. I did not get my hopes up on it. I was like, I will get excited for it when I see it in person. I saw it in person and my hopes were not dashed to pieces and they were not excited because I didn't have expectations on it. I was just like, it's either going to be good or it's going to be bad. And y'all, it was bad. It was so bad and I refused to make a video on how bad it was. Because I could have ranted for a long time, but I chose not to. I chose to be nice. I held my tongue. But yeah, it was bad.
It's funny with those things like I find, and I've talked about this on the podcast, I find that when there's a lot of big buildup on social media about a snack or about merchandise or about a
Right.
day like Easter or Valentine's Day or about even just like the food festivals, it's so easy to get caught up in the FOMO of it. And then when you
Right.
get there, you're like, oh, it's just kind of a city that runs. And then there's like this extra stuff. And I think that when you're going solo and you're planning solo, especially if it's like a once in a lifetime trip and you're feeling guilty about going and all this stuff, that you kind of have to just like put that aside and know that like there's this
Yes.
consistency to Disney and that's what you're going for. The rest of it can be just kind of busy.
Right. I'm not going for the trending snacks. Most of the time I forget where they're at, so I don't even get over there
I
to them.
know. Where was
I
that? Oh, at All Star
Where's
Sports?
that
Yeah.
again?
I don't know if we're
Oh,
gonna
no, I'm not
go
going all
over
the way
for
over there.
there.
I'm over
Yeah.
here right now. And for me, I'm not focusing on what's trending, and I don't want to like pull into the FOMO, I guess is what it is.
Yeah.
And you
Yep.
can see that reflected in my content is I'm not trying to
Yep.
I something Disney is very out of touch with is that they bring influencers in to do these things that the normal guests cannot do, that cannot experience these things.
Right.
I have voiced this before, and everybody knows my stance on this. And for me, I try to focus on the tiniest storytelling details that anybody can see if they stop and take the time to look for it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like the thing that's been there since the 70s of
Right.
the representing the Philadelphia Fire Department created by Benjamin Franklin in the 1500s, like that's bonkers. And
Right.
that's amazing storytelling that anybody, or well, not 15, 17,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever the year
It's
was.
okay. It's okay. We don't need to.
Dates are
I
hard
know
this
we
late in the evening.
started by talking about like inaccurate time periods.
Inaccurate. I'm just
Yeah.
saying all the interactive
It's
words,
fine. You're like
wrong
AD
things,
something.
wrong
Yeah.
dates. You know, timeline,
Yeah.
ages, whatever. Benjamin Franklin, though, that is correct. And like this plaque, though, and highlighting this information and the history behind it, and this has been there for a long time, but this brings me joy, and I want it to bring other people joy,
Mm-hmm.
not what's the trendy thing over at Columbia Harbor House next door, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that. Now, we did talk, speaking of trendy things, we did talk a little bit about this last time, but this is another question that came from Patreon. Somebody want to know what you're looking forward to with Villains Land, because I know you have some skepticism. We talked about that last time.
Ages.
Looking forward, what are things you're excited about with Villains Land?
I love how we still know nothing of Villain's Land. And how what was announced was basically a slideshow saying, ladies and gentlemen, look, we're going to have
Villains Land
villains and the color green and more villains.
and
That's all we know.
land,
And
land.
land. And I see the giant patch of dirt that they've already laid out, that they've already cleared out. You can see it on the monorail if you're passing by. It's right over there. You can see direct line of it and where it's going to be going. Um, I I can't tell you what I'm excited about it because I don't know. We don't know anything.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm still more skeptical than anything else because they didn't give us any meat and potatoes during D23 Expo.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Which was really surprising.
Well, it's also not because Josh Damaro wasn't there.
Oh,
So they pivoted, and you can kind of read it in the show is that in the last hours during the convention, the announcements were pivoted
ah,
because he wasn't there to promote it or talk about it because he's the only one that's allowed to.
right.
So that means everything's being held for D23 here in 2026, where we'll finally maybe get a glimpse of something. But again, what's the other audio from TikTok? Be prepared for nothing is really what I'm my mindset's at.
I
So
remember going to Disney and hearing that there was going to be a new Fantasyland. And then there was like 10 years I did not go to Disney. And then I showed up and I was like, ooh, look at this like new Fantasyland. And it like no expectations, no social media. And I just kind of wish We had that a little bit. But in
Maybe.
to fill in those gaps are wonderful pieces of history and trivia that you can provide and that are also in the books plural that you're writing. So can we do a
Hmm.
plug for your books and your social media before we say goodbye?
Yes. So y'all, it is the book that is currently out is I Heart or I Love Magic Kingdom or Disney's Magic Kingdom. And then the second book that is currently available for pre-order and that y'all have already made like number two on travel guides on Amazon is I Love Epcot. That will be releasing on January 6th. And I actually am going back into the studio and
Where are
recording
you
the
going to be on
audiobook.
January 6th?
I will be at Barnes and Noble, probably in Dr. Phillips. So, that's probably where I'm going to be. And oh, that's unfortunate. Maybe I need to ask my
Yeah,
publisher,
sorry,
hey, can we move back by like a
sorry.
day? Can we move it a
Other
day?
things
So I
happen.
don't, I'm not,
You're rewriting the narrative. It's fine.
I am rewriting the narrative. That's exactly right. And I'm currently working on a third book. I did get another contract, and this will not be part of the iHeart series, but a totally new concept that
Ooh.
is more focused on the defunct and how you can still find references in Walt Disney World. And that's going to be releasing in September. So more info to come, but let's focus on the Epcot book first.
Well, that's really
So
awesome.
yeah.
I did an episode around for like the Halloween episode about just kind of like ghostly echoes of certain things. And I was like, I don't really feel like Magic
Yes.
Kingdom is that haunted. I'm like, but Epcot feels very haunted. And in my brain, I'm like, but I'm not
Oh
going to
my
talk
gosh,
about that
yes.
until Danielle's book comes out. And then we'll get to talk about that when we're talking
When I
about
tell
her book.
you, and may this be a little preview to the next time I'm on here talking about the Epcot book, but there was so much I wrote about the defunct or the things that did not make it into the book, and it got cut because there was too much word count. And I said, "What do you mean? Like this ties in and explains a lot of Epcot and how it functions." And they're like, "Yeah, but Danielle, we can't fit this in here. It also has to be a relevant book because you're also talking about things that people can currently experience in the park, not just the history." And I'm like, "Fine." So I just cut all that and I copied and pasted over into a different document. And then they presented the defunct history. And I'm like, "So you're saying I can just copy and paste over what I already wrote and just bring it over to Epcot?" And they're just like, "Yeah, sure." And I'm like, "Bet." So
Excellent.
there's it will see light. It just probably won't be until the end of next year.
No problem. We will be sticking around because I think that that is really like I mean you said this too, right? It's that layer of history, all those layers of history is what makes Walt Disney World such a magical place. And this was such a magical conversation, Danielle. So thank
Thank
you again for
you.
agreeing to come on the
Yes.
podcast. And I can't wait to talk to you next.
Yes. And again, y'all, I said in the beginning of the episode, I'm the Dapper Danielle over on the Instagram, the TikTok, the YouTube, the threads, the wherever. And I'm probably there. Just remember it's the Dapper Danielle. There's no extra period, there's no extra zeros. After 6 years of being on social media, all of a sudden I'm finally having those fake accounts are trying to message people saying, I have something for you. Reach out to me on this
It's
app.
crypto.
It's right. And I'm just like, first off, you know how anti-AI and everything I am, y'all. If you've been truly watching my content, you know I'm not trying to send you Bitcoin or something like that, because that's not me. And I'm so bad at responding to emails and messages. You think I'm gonna reach out to you first on any other social? No. So yeah, it's unfortunate. But yes. So make sure you
Well,
follow along.
all of the links to all of that are in the description below. And so everyone will be able to get in touch with you very easily. So
Thanks.
thank you again.
Thank you. Yes. Till next time. Night night.
Bye.
Sleep tight. Dream of churros tonight.
That was such a fantastic conversation. I love talking with Danielle. It was so great. And, so I was really worried that we were going to have a difficult time like scheduling. And she was so great. We were able to make time right away. Actually, we did have some difficulties with the time, but that's neither here nor there. And I can't wait for her to be back. If you enjoy this conversation as much as I enjoyed it, please make sure that you follow Danielle on all her social medias, but also please make sure you rate, review, subscribe to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube. You can do all of them. It's fine. I don't mind. And until next time, everyone, bye.